Mysteries abound around the world, from strange lights of the night sky to ghostly apparitions passing from one realm to the next. From the Great Pyramids of Egypt to what lies beneath the depths of Loch Ness. From Bigfoot to Atlantis, they are all mysteries waiting to be solved. Join Lori Phillips, Lauren Smith, Graz, and Billy Simmons as they search for the truth on Night Callers Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Night Callers Bigfoot Radio. It's July 16th, 2015, and you're here with the full crew tonight. You've got me, Lauren, Lori, Graz, and Billy. And tonight we are hearing from the Hudson Valley Researcher group. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. Hey, am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Okay. My studio is like really, really lagging, so I can't. And I don't. What happened with the intro? You know, did somebody have to start it? So I've got out. Okay.
No, it started on its own. It just took its time.
Well, I guess so. Well, how's everyone?
Fantastic. Okay then.
This studio is rolling really slow
here. Yeah.
It is. It's terribly distracting, and I apologize to everyone out there that we're experiencing some difficulty, and I hope we don't have any more problems with the show. Anybody got any news? We're still waiting to hear from you witnesses out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you've had a witness encounter, we'd sure like you to contact us at nightcallers_BTR@yahoo.com. And just let us know if you've had an encounter, and we'll make it easy on you. And love to hear from you. I think I finally got a recording. I've heard them howling today while I was in the shower, and I was out there recording. So I haven't had a chance to listen to it, so maybe I can share it with y'all next week. So we'll see. That's all.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I got. Something was howling, but I don't know if it was a wolf, a coyote, or a Sasquatch, which I hope it was a Sasquatch. So, yeah.
Well, if you ever hear chatter out in your backyard, there's somebody who knows how to understand chatter. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do we need to have them on the show?
Bigfoot Under the Radar, somebody I'd never heard of, Eric RM or something like that. If anybody sees him out there, have a good look at it, but to lead him off your room because he's a total wacko. He wrote a book. He wrote a book. He doesn't have a picture avatar on his Facebook, which is a red flag in the first place, but he wrote a book basically about Bigfoot, and then it says includes a dictionary of Bigfoot language.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know,
Janice on his name.
Carter did the same thing. She had a Bigfoot language in the back of her book. Bigfoot my...
Well, this guy threw me off a little bit.
Bigfoot or something.
He had a whole bunch of groups of Comunisto, blah, 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 out of Chile and South America. And one of the sites was I Hate USA. That got, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, not a true American, is he?
I don't know.
USA has problems, but it's my country.
That's right. I'm still
you can be a wacko, but just don't hang around with them Comunistos.
Yeah, that. Well, if nobody has anything else to add. Okay.
Anything else, Graz?
No. That was my earth-shattering news for the night. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, then. Well, because we do have quite a few researchers on the line that we're interviewing tonight, Graz, you want to go ahead and roll that intro?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Night Callers Bigfoot Radio presents the Bigfoot researchers of the Hudson Valley. Gayle Beatty is a wife and mother of 4 children. Gail grew up on the base of Stissing, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Stissing Mountain in the town of Pine Plains, Dutchess County, New York. Growing up in the Hudson Valley, she was always interested in nature, spending most of her time in the woods. Gail learned to fish and hunt from her dad and enjoyed riding horses and milking cows, hopefully not at the same time, at a friend's farm. Excuse me. She had never heard of Bigfoot and had a little fear of being in the forest alone. One night, Gail decided to go solo camping on the mountain behind her house. She set up her tent in the favorite spot and settled in for the night. It wasn't long before she heard what she believed to be a great horned owl call right in the tree above her. It was very loud and a bit unnerving. A few minutes later, she heard the most god-awful sound of her life. Gail was very familiar with the wildlife in her area, and this was so loud and powerful that she became frozen with fear. She doesn't know how long she sat there shaking, afraid that whatever it was would kill her. She finally decided to bolt down the steep ravine and ran to her house. She was white as a ghost and terrified. Her parents asked her what was wrong, and all she could say was there is something up on the mountain and it's after her. It was not until around 2011 when Gail watched the Finding Bigfoot Show and heard the vocalizations that she knew what she had heard that night. Gail immediately Googled Bigfoot sightings in Dutchess County and found out that 2 women had reported a daytime sighting of a large black Sasquatch crossing on Lake Road, which just happened to be the very road she lived on. Needless to say, that sparked her curiosity. Since then, it has become her passion to find out the truth behind these creatures that inhabit our forests. Gail will be joined by fellow researchers Connie, Imming, and Debbie Ray. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Graham.
Good job. All right, ladies, are y'all there?
Yep, we're here.
All right. We are really excited to have you on tonight. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves again for the listeners?
Yeah, I'm Gayle Beatty, lead researcher and founder of Bigfoot Researchers. And here's Connie.
My name is Connie Imming, and I actually had a sighting in Colorado, 1987.
Hi, I'm Debbie Ray, and I met Gail and Connie this past February when I found tracks in my backyard in the snow, and we just bonded together and with our interest in this topic, and boy, we are seeing lots of squatches around. So I'm learning as I go along with these 2 lovely ladies.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
I know. Like we said, we are excited to have you. Very excited.
First time Billy and I have been outnumbered.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
It's usually us ladies that are outnumbered.
Right, right. Yeah,
we're going to stay out of sight and out of mind tonight, Grace.
No, you're not. No.
I'm going to go do the dishes. I'll be back.
Well, do mine while you're at it.
Well, see, Graz was the reason why that I actually was alerted to you guys, and because he's the one that requested you. Now I know why he requested you, because you're all 3 very lovely ladies. That's why.
Yeah, we're all grandmas, so I think we're much first in the Bigfoot community.
Well, Lauren keeps trying to set me up, so just watch it.
Yeah. Graz is our resident bachelor, and it was his idea apparently for ladies' night tonight. It's ladies' night on Night Callers.
Hey, we're in. Yep.
I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that the Sasquatch, from what we are finding, because we do have men in our group, and we have more luck when it's just the women. They seem less threatened by us. And
Yes.
actually, last night we had a sighting. It was about 30 feet from us. I posted it on my page, and it was just standing there looking at us, peeking over some branches, of course. We didn't get a full-on shot, but if you go to Bigfoot Researchers of the Hudson Valley on Facebook, you will see him, and he was just looking at us. No threatening, like rock throwing or anything threatening. We have been fortunate of late not to have any of that. We've had other instances, a couple other times where, a little bit of flanking and breaking of trees and throwing of rocks, but this clan that we're studying now have been very, very passive and, allowing themselves to be seen more and more. So we're very fortunate for that. So I think it has something to do with us being women, but I'm not exactly positive, but we'll see as it progresses.
I think definitely it could have a lot to do with you being women, you being non-threatening. It also has a lot to do, I think, with the vibe you're putting out and just the attitude you have when you're out there,
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We've been using some of the Lenape elders' advice and having, we smudge with sage before we go out into the woods, or when we first get to a spot. If it's, the different places that we go, we sage, and then we do offer them tobacco, and we ask their permission to enter, which has just been of the past few months, and the reception has been very welcoming, and they are showing themselves more and more. So I think that it has a lot to do with it. And, also we're a no-kill organization. We don't bring weapons with us. I used to in the beginning, not for the Sasquatch, but we do have mountain lions and bear and coyotes and bobcats and different things here. And, certain areas that I would go into on this one farm in particular, I would bring my shotgun. But lately, all three of us have Sasquatch residing on our property, so we don't, have to carry guns or anything like that. We all have habituation sites now, which is pretty exciting in a way. Pretty cool.
That is really awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, Lori mentioned earlier that you guys have been having a lot more reports, and in this summer especially, and I'm wondering if it's like a worldwide thing, or if it's because we have definitely have a lot more activity this year than ever, so I'm just curious as to what you think.
I don't know. I've said it's weather and water patterns, but Mom and Billy both live in Texas, and they said that they've had, not a whole lot of rain, or maybe they said a lot of rain, but they said it's just been really, really hot, whereas here it's just now getting hot. Normally it would have been just miserable this whole summer, and it's just now hitting high 90s in Tulsa. So, I don't know.
But we had kind of a crazy, weather thing here and a lot of rain and stuff, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Where we live, and especially where I live, I have a lot of farms around me, and some cows, chickens, all kinds of sheep farms, and also orchards, and blueberries, cherries, peaches, apples, corn, everything that they could possibly want. Plus, I live on a creek. So, they have the perfect habitat here year-round. Yeah, even in the winter, we have so many deer and other, muskrat, beaver, otter, everything that they could want. So I know that some people believe that they migrate, which, I'm sure in the dead of winter maybe they might go somewhere, maybe in the cave system, but basically we have year-round activity here. So it's pretty interesting. I don't know if anyone else has that, like year-round activity, but we certainly have gotten this past winter so many reports of sightings and tracks, vocalizations close to homes, just overwhelming amount. I think I have approximately 150 reports that I've compiled, and I think it's the tip of the iceberg, because some people, for fear of ridicule, would not be reporting, and I believe now that it's more accepted, and the Finding Bigfoot Show came out, and I think people are less afraid to come out and tell their encounters.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing, Gail, how the Finding Bigfoot Show has really changed the face of the Bigfoot community?
Yeah.
How long have you been involved in Bigfoot research? Since 2011?
Yeah, I think 2011 is when it all clicked, and that's because of that show. And hearing those vocalizations, and I just stopped dead in my tracks, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what it was that I heard that night. Because I've been up that mountain, from the time I was a little kid. I was always outside. I always had my favorite spot up behind the house. Never, ever heard anything like that. The volume of it alone, I knew it wasn't, anything normal to the area. So...
Can you describe what you heard, Gail? Because it doesn't really... if you don't mind just telling what happened and just kind of... We've already read the intro, but kind of just go over again what happened. And
basically just... I got grounded by my parents, and I didn't tell them I was going up on the mountain. I just grabbed my tent and my sleeping bag and just traipsed up the mountain, set up my camp, and it was probably around this time of night, starting to get dark, and I settled in, and I heard that owl, and it sounded so loud, and I know, the different great horned owls and, the different barn owls and what they sound like, but this thing was loud. So I got a little scared, but I was just telling myself, all right, just calm down, it's just an owl, don't worry about it. And then a few minutes later, this, kind of low, it started out low, and then it just went higher, and just, so loud into a scream and a howl, kind of. I just could not even move. I've never been so scared in my life. I didn't hear any trees snapping or any other footsteps or anything, just that god-awful scream, and it was not far from me. And I thought I was going to be killed. I just didn't know what it could have been, but I thought that it would kill me, whatever it was. So I don't know even how long I sat there before I just bolted and just flew into the house. And, it was just a terrifying experience. It wasn't like anything I'd ever heard before in my life.
And so from that point, you just kind of put it in the back of your mind, and then in 2011 you heard something very similar to what you had heard on Finding Bigfoot. That's when you knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you meet these two ladies that are with you, Connie and Debbie? Can you tell us about how you got hooked up with them?
Yeah, Connie, I started my research, I guess, in 2012. I actually started the Facebook page and started to post different things that I found. And Connie contacted me. She was living in Florida at the time. And she had a brother that lived in Woodstock, New York, which is about how far from here, Connie?
Woodstock's about 15 miles.
Yeah, 15 miles from here. And she decided, we were corresponding back and forth, and she was following all my little outings and the evidence, and she decided that she wanted to move to New York, and she did. And we just met, and I believe it was in the winter, right?
It was February 2014.
Yeah, and we just clicked. We just hit it off. And we started, I started taking her out to my areas, and Connie had a kind of frightening encounter one day when we were out with there were Connie and I and two other men with us, and Connie and Brian, we split up, and they took a high trail, and we took a low trail.
Can Connie tell us about this, Gail? Do you mind? Yeah,
sure.
Connie, step up, sure. Connie.
Yeah, it was another teammate and I. We had taken off on one of the trails, and Gail and another team member went on another trail. And I kept hearing things behind me. I had a Sony video cam going, and I kept hearing things, and I would pan around. And we'd smell some foul smells every now and then. And this was actually Brian's first time out with us doing any research. And we went for quite a ways, and we had stopped at one point because we were thirsty, and I said, let's just turn the camcorder off a minute, get our backpacks out, get our water, and just rest a minute, and which is what we did. And within seconds, we heard this incredible thrashing, and then like a big thump at the end. And it sounded like someone had 15 machetes chomping through the woods and the brush, and then the big thump at the end, and then the ground would shake. And I turned around, and it did it 5 times. And then Brian and I looked at each other, and I thought it was Gail and the other researcher playing, a trick on us. So I kind of backtracked, and I looked in the brush, couldn't see anything. I said, "Hey, guys, is that you?" Just at that moment, Gail texted me and said, "Where are you?" And I texted her back and said, "Is that not you around us?" And she goes, "No, we can't find you." At that moment, that very moment, it did it again. And Brian and I, 5 more times, Brian and I looked at each other because the ground would shake. And I said, "Brian, let's get the hell out of here. I don't know what it is." So we hightailed it out of there. We didn't even put our backpacks on. We just grabbed them and basically ran to catch up with Gail and the other researcher. And both of us were stunned. We never did see it. Unfortunately, my camcorder was off, but the sound was so huge. It sounded like someone had 15 machetes at the same time crashing through the brush and the timbers and the woodland, and then all of a sudden you'd hear this big thump on the ground, and then the ground would shake. And I said, "Okay, that's it." And Brian was stunned. I mean, this guy was like frightened out of his boots. So from that
like he was saying, "I do believe that's an impact tremor."
I do believe and we've been back. Wow. That's our hot zone, and we have been back to it several times, and we have some great video of some. We've caught them back in there. So, it's been an experience here in New York, and now they're coming out in droves. Every time we go out, we capture them. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, wow.
I know. And Debbie Ray lives nearby, and again, she had all these incredible tracks in her yard when there was 2 feet of snow in her yard. And when Gail
Debbie,
and I
can you tell us about that, Debbie?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I met Gail and Connie this past February. Recently, I had my plow guy taking some snow off my roof, and I was standing out in the snow. And keep in mind, I wasn't walking through 2 feet of snow very well because I had just broken my leg last fall. So I was standing out there talking to him, and I turned around behind me, and I know there's deer tracks back there all the time. And I turned around and looked, and I thought, oh, that's odd. And I looked back at him, and I'm talking to him, and I turned around again, and I said, what in the heck is that? And he's on the roof laughing at me, and he goes, I don't know what that is. So I said, okay. I got my yardstick out and a camera, took pictures of all this, which are on Gail's website, and the footprint was in the snow. 2 feet of snow was 14 inches and about 7.5, 8 inches wide, and I think a good 5.5, 6 feet stride in between.
Wow.
And as we, right across my backyard, went around the side of the house, and I didn't see what was going on in the front. It must have crossed the driveway and then over on the front part of the yard into the brush area. And I didn't see that initially until 2 weeks later when Gail came back, and I did not know what that was. So a friend of mine said, gee, call your local police and see what they say. Well, I brought the pictures over on my iPad, and they stood there looking at me like they didn't know what to do with me. But they were looking at these pictures very intently. Never said a word other than they had their nose in my iPad. And finally I looked at him. I said, you can email those pictures to yourself. He goes, oh, okay, good. And he did. And they're whispering to each other. And I'm getting annoyed by this point in my life. And they looked at me and they said, what are you doing now? And I said, I'm going home. And they said, we'll follow home. I was like, great. So I said, sure, come on over. So they came in the house, and I walked them through to the back porch, and I said, as you can see, my plow guy is shoveling off my roof, and I'm out there talking to him, and I'm standing out there, and I joked with them. I said, I preserved the crime scene. I said, come on out in the tracks here and stand there and look and see what you think. And they stood there whispering to each other. And I'm 1.5 feet away from them, and I couldn't hear what the two of them were saying. I wanted to shoot them, I tell you. They were annoying me, but they were back and forth whispering. And finally they said, oh, yeah, you've just got deer walking through here. You'll be fine. And I just looked at them. There was something in the back of my head that said, this isn't kosher. But I wasn't panicked at all for some reason. So I said, great, okay, see ya, bye. And they left, and it just annoyed me for a couple of days. And I sat with my iPad one night and Googled Bigfoot researchers in the Hudson Valley, and I came up with Gail. It was a Friday night, and I wrote this lady's name down, and I said, oh, my God, she lives right up the road from me. I couldn't wait till Saturday morning. 9 a.m., I rang Gail's phone. She was so nice to me, and I said, look, I don't know what I have here. If you tell me this is a porcupine in my backyard, groovy, that's fine. You know, I just not sure what it is. Sure looks like footprints. So, and I'm a nurse. I'm a pretty practical person. I'm not going to get crazy about something I'm not sure about. If somebody else is an expert, I will refer to you. So Connie and Gail came down a couple of days later, and they came out, and they didn't make me feel like an idiot. And I said, well, come on out and look. Aw, thank you, Connie. And, you know, because you don't know what you're looking at. You know, it's that fear thing. If this is what it is, what is it? You know, what am I dealing with here? But they were so nice to me. And they came outside and they looked, and it was so cold out there. And Gail said, you've got a family walking through here, because there were smaller prints, too, out there. I showed them where I feed the deer, and we walked down to the corner where I feed the deer. And I'm right near the Hudson River and the railroad. So from what we could see, the tracks were coming from the area by the railroad and the Hudson River. And they'd come across the frozen pond and up into my backyard. And what they did is cut around and then across my driveway and cut down the front and back into the brush. They just kind of circled my house. So when Gail came over a couple weeks ago, she found those tracks in the front, too. Took some pictures, and a few weeks ago she had looked at the video again, and there are 6 little Sasquatch sitting right in my front yard looking at me 10 feet from my driveway. It's unbelievable. And I said, well, I couldn't see them. And she had it on video camera. Well, we're standing just feet from these little things in the brush, and they look like little, teddy bears, little Ewoks? Yeah. I call them my Ewok. They're just little guys sitting there, and they were looking at me in the driveway. Gail's up on the snowbank videotaping this whole thing, and she didn't see them either, but they came through after the video was looked at. So we have those pictures, too. But they came off the pond. They came down the railroad. Oh, also, there was, on Valentine's Day, a friend of mine was leaving a local yacht club after setting up her Valentine's party, and she looked down the railroad tracks as they were crossing the tracks, and she saw a very large man-like object, bipedal, all dark, walking in a blinding snowstorm in the bitter cold on Valentine's Day, about 4:30 in the afternoon. And she didn't think too much of it. And I told her about the tracks, and, of course, you just kind of get the look. So I just dismiss it with friends of mine now. But apparently an Amtrak train engineer was doing the Albany to New York run, and he saw the exact same thing a few minutes later, and he reported it to Amtrak. And he reported it as a Bigfoot.
Wow.
So I've also got some trees next to my house. We were brave enough a couple weeks ago, and we went in the woods right like 10 feet from my garage and down there. And I have tree structures in there, and an upside down tree also, Gail, where the root ball is up in the air and the top of the tree is jammed into the ground. With the tree next to the tree structure, so I thought that was a little interesting too. So
very interesting. They're finding that in Alaska.
Yes.
And in parts of Canada also. I believe you three are the first time I've ever heard of that particular sign, Bigfoot sign, here in the States. So that's
it's crazy. It's very crazy. The only time I heard about the upside-down tree was this year, watching Les Stroud, Survivor Man, and he was up in Clem-2, and he came upon that tree structure and the upside-down tree. I believe he was with Scott Carpenter in that show, and they came upon it, and it was right out in the open. And I was fascinated seeing that upside-down tree. And, with the Todd Standing, maybe it was somebody he was with. And, it was the tree, the root ball up in the air and the tree jammed in. And the two men said they couldn't move the tree. And they said this doesn't occur naturally in nature, So what's the other answer?
No, it does not. And it takes incredible strength to do something like that. I wouldn't even think a single Bigfoot could do it by himself.
Right. I don't think so either. It has to be multiple. So, but these two ladies are just incredible. We are so calm out there looking for these things, and they do. As Gail said, they're coming to us. They're making themselves visible to us. Last night we eyeballed one about 30 feet away from us, Gail, and I turned my head and I looked. I said, Gail, it's 12 o'clock, straight ahead, and there it was. And she said, oh, yeah, I see it. And Connie saw it, and we've got it on videotape. And Gail's got it on the website today. You'll see it with the back of my head. So it's incredible. We're seeing more of them, and we're seeing lots of them. When Gail goes over and Connie go over the videotapes, there's so many in the trees. It's incredible. So I can't explain it. Who would have thought that there would be so many so close to you? And
I want to get back to Gail for a second. Gail and I talked on the telephone earlier today, and Gail, you were saying something about there's so many little ones. We had a show last week with Greg Caney, and he was talking about seeing young Sasquatch, lots of them. And I just thought his stories were incredible, and I almost didn't, wasn't sure about him. But now that I'm hearing this from you ladies too, I have to wonder, why are there so many infants
Can you give us some idea on that, Gail?
I don't know. At one point, we were working with a gentleman that he was trying to figure out their breeding patterns, and he was thinking that he knew that they had a juvenile about 12 years old, and we had cast a couple of tracks of that one, about 13, 14 inches. And then we had also found a smaller track of 7 inches. And he said that he thought that they had a young one, maybe in the springtime, maybe midsummer, that he thought that they had a young one. And Debbie Ray actually cast, and we have it, an 8-inch track, along with two 14-inch, Debbie? Yeah, at her property. So we know that there's a young one by her. And then over across the river in the Catskills, a couple of years ago, a woman that owned a dog kennel had called us, and she had Bigfoot tracks in the snow circling her kennels. So Jesse and another team member and I went to investigate, and we also found a small track. It looked like about 5-inch. I think it was a 5-inch track, 5 or 6 inches. We have pictures of it. We didn't cast it. It was in the snow. But, yeah, I believe that there's a heavy breeding population here going on. And we're only 2 hours north of Manhattan. I have to mention this every time I speak because people think of New York and they think we're in the city. But like I said before, there's farms here. There's, all kinds of nature hunting. I grew up hunting, and lots of the people here, it's a tradition. And a lot of the men that come in, because I have a bait and tackle shop, and I have my Bigfoot stuff displayed, and some of the guys are like, oh, cool, you're into the Bigfoot. And other people are like, oh, that's a bunch of bull, I don't believe in it, and whatever. And it happened that one of my customers, he never believed in it, and this past hunting season, he was out in the woods hunting in his favorite spot. He's hunted for 25 years, when a huge black Sasquatch ran within, I think, 50 feet of him and down this steep hill. And the man called me up, and he was like, Gail, I have to tell you what happened. And he said he got out of those woods so fast, and he's never going back again. So it's just crazy. It's like the skeptics, how you wish sometimes, like the people that post negative things or something, you just wish that they would have an encounter. Well, this guy did, and he apologized to me, and he said, you know what, I believe you now. I never could believe that it was true, but with his own eyes he saw it. So, yeah, I don't know how many there are, but I definitely believe that they are breeding prolifically. I know it. I mean, for the amount that we are seeing, it's incredible.
Well, conditions have to be absolutely perfect. You have to have enough food, you have to have enough water, enough cover. The weather has to be right. I mean, so many things. If there's a healthy population there, then they are going to increase in numbers.
Right.
So,
right. The thing that's crazy is they're so close to people's homes and schools. I live not even an eighth of a mile from the middle school. It's right up at the end of our road, and our creek goes up, up behind the school. And that's where I found the nest last year. It was just like vines and twigs and maybe about 12 feet in diameter, and it had a stick across the front of it, like, the classic Bigfoot stick that they leave, in the front of a cave or whatever. And so it just makes me wonder, like, they're so close to humans and schools, and, it's just a little unnerving in a way because, I know they like to observe children and people in general, but to have them so close to the school is, I guess they feel safe here and comfortable, so they're habitating here now. But it's only been the past 2 years that I have been aware that they've been here on my property.
Uh-huh.
Before that, I hadn't heard anything or seen anything to, let me know that they were here. But 2 years ago, I saw eye shine from 2 individuals in February of, I guess around 2013 or thereabouts, and it was at night, and they looked like LED lights. They were so bright, and they were across the creek, and I was out on the porch around 9:30 in the evening and with the cat, and I just looked across the creek, and there was snow and on the hill, and I just saw those eyes shine, and I yelled over there because it's just a field over there, and no one's ever over there, especially at night in February. And I said, "Who's over there?" And they immediately just, vanished. So it was unnerving because then after that I heard howls, hoops. We've had rock throwing incidents here on the creek. We've had other fishermen observe a creature one night when they were bullhead fishing, and they shined the spotlight after they heard like branches cracking across the creek, and they saw this huge silhouette of this creature. So, it's just escalated since February of 2013 here. It's just gotten, progressively more and more activity. And other people in the town have reported, different incidents as well. So it's fascinating.
I'm curious.
So do you believe? Go ahead,
if I can,
Brad.
just for a second. I'm not much for maps. I was about to go on Google Earth. I was going to leave that as the last resort, but describe where this Hudson Valley is.
The Hudson Valley is, I'll let Debbie do it for me because I'm not that good at maps.
Okay, do you have a map in front of you?
Well, I can any second now, and I imagine some other people will. But
all right, well,
you mentioned
in New
that
York
it's the
City.
Hudson River.
Okay, if you find New York City and find the Hudson River and go north, and if you keep going north, you'll hit Albany. We're in between Albany and New York City. I live in Hyde Park. The biggest city around here is Poughkeepsie. So if you go halfway up the river, you'll see Poughkeepsie, and the next town up is Hyde Park. And then Gail is north of that. So the whole area here, right along the river, Gail has lots and lots of sightings.
I'm trying to get Google Earth to work here.
That's okay. Mine takes time too.
Oh, there's Albany! Yay!
Yay! You found Albany! Yay!
Yay! You found Albany! Avi, I found Albany. We're about to get some pepper charm delivered there. Hold on.
Okay, go south then. We're about an hour and a half south of Albany and 2 hours north of New York City.
Okay. I'm just looking at the general area now.
Yeah.
There's Woodstock. Okay, I get it now.
Okay, go across the river from Woodstock.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like you were saying, a lot of people are under the misconception that New York is basically city. And a lot of people do know that, but a lot of people don't know that there are huge, huge tracts of woods in New York, that Bigfoot can have any kind of viable population.
Absolutely. We're finding them pretty close to major highways too. I live in a neighborhood. Yes, I'm right next to Metro North Railroad and the Hudson River, but I'm in a regular neighborhood. I have neighbors close to my house. I'm at the end of the street, and I noticed this winter when I had tracks in my backyard, it looked like Grand Central Station with the tracks, but not one of my neighbors had any tracks in their yard. So they stayed pretty much just going around my house. Why, I don't know. Maybe I was just a shortcut coming off the railroad and picking up some deer food and taking off again. I don't know. But they're right off major highways. We don't have to go too far to see them. And
they don't have to live out in the middle of the dense woods either. They can live quite well on farmland and in between farm tracts.
Yes. There's a lot of agriculture up here, and they can run through the berry fields and the corn fields and the soybean fields up here and get everything they need and fish from the stream. It's a full diet up here, and the deer in the winter, and but as Gail said before, there is a population explosion of these little ones because we can be out looking and just observe them as the little ones climbing trees and just notice the trees shaking, and we get them on video. I'm not saying 3, 4, I'm saying 10, 12, 15 at a time. There may be more. It's incredible.
Wow.
And they're a pretty hardy breed because you get a lot of that lake effect snow around there. You get 2-3 feet at a time.
Oh yeah, this winter. Well, we're on the river is 5 minutes from my house. Debbie is right on the river practically, and yeah, we have things coming off the coast and stuff. But we're in a valley, and then the Catskill Mountains are not far from here at all. So. Yeah, and then we have the Berkshires on the other side, the Berkshire Mountains. Yeah, western New York gets more of the lake effect snow, but this past winter we had 2 to 3 feet of snow. And it stayed for a long time. The lakes were all frozen, and it was a rough winter for all of us, and including the Sasquatch, I would imagine. But another thing, as a hunter of deer, the past couple of years, the hunters have not gotten as many deer. And I know butchers that, we would always take our deer to be butchered at this one guy, local guy. And this past year was the worst year he's ever had for deer butcher. So I know personally, normally we get, my boys and I hunt, so we get at least 2 to 3 deer, and we got 1 this year, and it was a doe. So I think they're putting a bit of a hurting on the deer population around this area. And the one I noticed, a few people have told me that the deer are hanging in close to their homes. The one guy said they were right up against his house, the deer, bedding down, and I've noticed, finding bedding areas close to people's homes. So I think that the Sasquatch have the deer pretty spooked, definitely during hunting season.
Now, you're talking basically around your own area within, a radius of 40 miles, per se, or 50 miles, that this is happening?
Yeah. Dutchess County, and then, we're not far from Columbia County, and that's even more rural than here. And, they definitely put a hurting on the deer population. We used to, like I said, get at least few deer every year to fill the freezer, and we had 1 this year, and last year maybe 2. Yeah. It's pretty amazing, but, I've found carcasses that the Sasquatch, we believe, have killed and had the
We've
neck.
got those pictures up on the slideshow for anybody who's watching the show live. Yeah. Can you tell us about those? They're up on the slideshow, anyone that wants to see them.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but go ahead.
I don't know which ones. I know I sent you the one with the jaw stripped and the tongue missing. The neck was just twisted, like wrung.
Mm.
And all the legs were pulled out, just pulled out of the sockets. And that one was in a known habitation area. We found other carcasses right across the creek from here, from my house, about 6 or 7 carcasses, just the same way, just mutilated. What else? Oh, there was another hunter that sent me pictures of this. He was in his tree stand. It was bow season, so it was December, and he saw these deer running down the hill kind of erratically, like they were running away from something. So he took a shot at one doe and killed it. He climbed out of his stand, and he started to approach the deer, and for some reason he just looked over his shoulder, and maybe 150 yards away is standing this creature with long, shaggy hair on 2 legs. I think I sent you that picture, and he was in the mindset of, fear, and it was a little bit drizzling or sleeting out, but he managed to get a picture of this creature, and then he took off, right? The next day, he returned there with a few of his friends and his black lab, not only to find the deer that he had killed, the doe he killed, and it was just laying there, but another deer placed right next to it with its neck broken. And he came into the shop, and he saw that I was into the Bigfoot. He came in for bait or something, and he told me that story, showed me the picture, and I said, holy crap. I mean, none of us could believe this. So, the next day when he went back with his friends, he found his deer, the one laying next to it. They walked around the area, and they found, I think, 3 more carcasses of deer that had been mutilated, just laying there. And I think I sent you the one with the buck, with the big rack, and all the rib cage was on it and everything. But, oh, my God, that was a creepy picture and story.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, why would the Bigfoot, not take the deer the man killed, but kill another deer and lay it next to his, It was just really weird. It's just something
it's mysterious. You wonder what it means. I mean, it had to have had some kind of meaning. There was a message there, but what in the world could it have been?
Yeah. Well, they talk about the gifting, and I know
it's
people...
kind of like, sorry to scare you off from your kill. Here's another one. I hope this makes it up.
Yeah, right. And the picture itself, I mean, it was standing on 2 legs, but it had ear tufts on top of its head, and it had like a longer snout and a black
like
nose.
A Dogman. It was like a Dogman.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that's something. Ooh, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I probably let Connie tell you about our Dogman picture and track, and, we have a video clip with a Dogman in it. And I think I might have sent you that picture of him standing by the tree, but I'll let Connie tell you about that day.
It was basically one of our very first ventures out as a team, and we went to a preserve, and we were walking down a trail. It had rained substantially a day or 2 before that, and we looked down, and we measured at a 5-inch by 5.5-inch print of actually a clawed print. It wasn't anything like a Bigfoot print. This thing was a huge print, and all of a sudden everyone's saying, oh, it's a coy wolf, and I'm like, no, it's a little bit bigger than that. And we do have it on one of our YouTube channels. We did take quite a few pictures of it, and immediately my brain went to Dogman. I mean, this thing had claws, like it was not a bear. It wasn't. We've been through every scenario, pulling up every scenario print that we could imagine, and then as we're walking on that particular day, that's when we had that encounter Brian and I did. In some of our video, we have picked out actual Dogman in our video. So we have them here in New York. We have seen them since several times. It's almost like they travel with the Bigfoot. We've never been approached or...
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah, it's crazy, but they are here, and they travel with the Bigfoot, which don't understand that. We can't figure out why. So
I'm staying on this side of the Rockies.
Maybe it's because they both hunt the same prey. Maybe they're not actually running together, but they're running after the same prey.
They might enhance each other's hunting methods. Who knows? Yeah. You know.
In that video that we have, in that clip, we also have a mother, which we believe is a mother Sasquatch, and it has an infant on its left shoulder, and it has a juvenile in front of it, and they were walking, or they were the ones I think that were flanking Connie and Brian because they both had sticks in the hand, the mother and the juvenile. And then in the same frame of the, because I freeze frame the video, is this Dogman creature standing on two legs by a tree, and he's about, I'd say, 30 yards in front and a little forward, closer to the trail than the mother Bigfoot and the two young. So I believe I sent you that. If not, I can send it to you. But it just blew us away. Blew us away. I would take a Bigfoot over a Dogman any day of the week. You know
what's amazing to me is that they're both apex predators. The Sasquatch is and the Dogman is, and that they're not in conflict. And to have young Sasquatch in the same picture as the Dogman,
right?
That tells me that the Dogmen are not preying upon the Sasquatch children.
Right. Well, Vic Cundiff had called me from Dogman Encounters because I had posted that picture, and he wanted me to be on his show. And at the time, I didn't feel I was qualified to be on the show because I only had that one, found the track and then found the things in the video, but I didn't really know that much about the Dogman, rather. But just the fact that they were in such close proximity, and it was almost like the Dogman was guarding the mother Bigfoot and the young. It was like in that kind of stance, and, like it was closer to us than the Bigfoots were, and it was just standing by a tree, just observing us walk by on the trail. And so Vic, said, would you like to be on this show? And I was honest, and I said, I don't feel qualified to really say that I've had an encounter, because like some people have had terrifying encounters with them. And so I follow his show, and it's really good, but I hope to God I never run into one of them again. That would really kind of put a damper on some of my excursions into the forest, I think.
It would me too, because I don't know, it's something about, I have this like werewolf phobia, and Dogmen fall into the werewolf phobia thing for me, and it's like if I know there's a Dogman in the area, even though, Dogman attacks, I have not heard of very many of them, but they just scare me.
Right.
They just really do.
Yeah.
You think Sasquatch would scare you enough because they're enormous and they're unknown, and you don't really know what they're thinking, and you don't have like any kind of communication with them, so you don't know whether you should be there or you shouldn't be there, or if they want you there or they don't want you there. You understand what I'm saying? But with the Dogman, to me, I don't know, is there are they an extremely intelligent animal like the Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Or are they most? Yeah.
Yeah. When I listen to some of those encounters, it seems like they have an intelligence to them. And, the people that have encountered them, they've been followed home. They've been, had more than one encounter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
almost the same. How interesting. Well,
yeah.
Hey, we're going to stop right here, and we're all going to go to intermission. So you ladies take a break, and everyone out there take a break, and we'll be back shortly. Brad, can you start that intermission?
Thank you.
I think so. Back in about 8 minutes. I wasn't done with my ruffles. Lauren, did you go get that pickle?
I am working on my Easy Mac over here.
Better be calling back, Bill.
Really, Billy? Where'd he go?
Mm-hmm. He's ditching us. That's what
he conveniently fell off when you were supposed to pick it up after intermission. Mm-hmm. I don't see how
Texas men, you just can't trust them, can you?
Rude.
Let's see. Any one of you girls can answer this one if you wish. Y'all there?
Yeah. Oh, Connie had to leave. She had to get up early tomorrow morning and go to work. She thanked you very much for having her on, and I'm looking forward to hearing the show in person later or tomorrow, whenever. Thank you.
Well, I'm curious. Thank you so much for coming on.
Okay,
yeah, really.
I will.
I'm curious, you've seen them so much, if you could describe in general what they look like. I know there's going to be differences between different ones here and there, like within families. What in general, what do they look like? Do they have a little more human look, or do they have just a hair of apish to them? Cone heads, not cone heads?
A lot of cone-headed black, jet black, that we have been encountering lately. And as a matter of fact, the one last night, definitely classic cone head, heavy brow ridge, more ape-like. But we do have some photographs of more, maybe they call them the ancient ones, a little bit more, human features. And I hadn't seen the one blonde one, but one of our team members had seen the blonde Sasquatch last year, I believe it was, and we got the call from him, went out the next morning and cast, I think it was a 19-inch track. But we recently, like 2 weeks ago, we got a good shot of, and I don't think I sent you that one, which I will, more of a brownish colored and long hair. The other ones that we've been seeing, just, the hair looks shorter on the head. We're not, like, getting full body shots, mostly peeking, tree peekers and stuff. But this one does look more like a human-like. And I think it was from, 2 weeks ago, Debbie? Yeah. I think it was the 4th of June.
Now, human-like as far as the face is concerned, they've got the bit of a flat nose, but still almost human-like?
More of a flat nose. This one I'm looking at right now, Debbie pulled it up. Dark. Dark face. Yeah. And that one doesn't seem, it looks like it has longer hair and more like of a beard, but flatter nose. I'll send you this one and see what you think. I think it's also on Facebook, and we got quite a good response from this photograph and this creature. But
what color is the skin?
Black. Sorry.
That's all right. What color is their skin?
Black, dark, darkish black. a lot of them. The one clan that, I don't know how many's in this place where the Dogman was, but they were classic, cone-headed, jet black, like almost a blue-black color. And I think I sent you that picture when they were submerged in the swamp. And we had walked by, and Connie happened to pan back, and she caught them, and it's a really good shot. Oh, yeah, there's some other ones.
I was curious about another one. What kind of cameras are you using out there?
Well, we're using high-definition Sonys pretty much, and they work out really well. I think the high-def is, it's picking up a lot more than, some of the... Well, I used to use my iPad a lot and my iPhone, but, graduated to the other camera. And it's working out pretty well for us. Picking up.
Yeah, I can't imagine a phone doing any good. You can't really do any zooming.
Yeah.
You got something that is like an HD Sony. You mentioned a Sony, like an HD Sony with about 20 zoom or something on it, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is. And Connie does a lot of the filming now too, which is good. So
and you're using a program to take the pictures off the video and post them on YouTube?
Yeah,
is that what you're doing?
Well, working on it. We really wish that we could get someone in the group that has more knowledge of that. My son was here tonight because we got a new computer designated just for the research, and it's a Windows 8, and none of us have used a Windows 8 before, and it has the capabilities of doing everything, like Movie Maker, editing film and putting in, words and your videos and music, but we're not that good at doing all this stuff. So maybe someday we'll have someone join the group that could help us out. But right now what I usually do is just get home from the field, put the chip in, and then watch the video and freeze frame it, and then take my iPad and take a photo from my iPad and edit that, try to make it better in whatever way I can. And that's what I've been putting online, and I'm sure there's better ways to do it. Like my son said, you could...
I have an idea.
What?
I have an idea. If you can get the video to go full screen...
Yeah.
Can you do that? Then you hit print screen. That takes a picture of your screen, a full-size picture of your screen, directly off the screen.
Yeah.
And then... Go ahead.
Okay.
And then you just go into your picture program, and then you click on Edit, Paste. It'll paste that picture into your picture program.
Really?
Yeah. Is your son there right now?
Yeah, she's writing it down.
No, your son isn't here.
No, he's not here, but Debbie's writing this down. But he said that to me yesterday. He's like, Mom, instead of doing that, you can do something, and I didn't write down what he said, so I didn't.
Right. if you can get that freeze frame to go full screen, just hit print screen, and that copies it into your computer, and then you go to your picture program, then you hit Edit, Paste, and it'll paste it right into your picture program, and then you can save it anywhere you want from there.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
It's basically a copy and paste.
Yeah. Copy and paste. Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
I noticed that some of the people on your Facebook were making comments about why it was so fuzzy, and that might help.
Right. That's probably why, because I like trying to stop it and have it not be blurry when I stop it.
There's stills from a video.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's perfect.
Well, as long as it's not going into some portal dimension like those people over in Soha and Oregon are talking about or something. Bigfoot is naturally fuzzy.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Plus it stills from a video too, so there's some changes, with the quality also. It's not going to be as clear as you'd like, but you do the best you can. You get out some information, and sometimes people have to take your word that, hey, we were there, we really did see this, but we've been called hoaxers and once and never again.
Or blob squatch, or just plain old blob squatchers, and you can't you can't get a good video out of it, or what? That kind of stuff.
One guy got really personal, says that trust us that we were hoaxing. I was like, we're three grandmothers. We don't have time for making up a hoax. What do you think? We're sitting in the kitchen here, and let's conjure something up and fool people. It's like, no, we're out looking. Our research is pure. We go with an open heart. We're respectful of the land. We bring them food, apples and potatoes and things, and we leave them gifts. We take some videos. We say hello. We're quiet. Gail has played Native American Indian music here at her house when she had a special guest here a couple weeks ago, and she lit the campfire out there, and she had the Indian drums, and it drew them in. The pictures that she got were absolutely incredible. They were all around us.
Well, that leads us to the next question then.
Sure.
Lori, this is a question from the chat. Lori103, who's a person in the chat, is asking, has any of the guests had a window tapping or doorknob jiggling from the Bigfoot?
No, I haven't. I had a doorbell ringing, and we went to answer it, and no one was there. Like within seconds of it, the doorbell rang, and that was around February. Oh, and I had a chick missing off of my porch a few weeks ago. I had someone hatch out 13 of my eggs, and I had 13 chicks on my front porch in a brooding pen with a lid, and that the cats could not open. Someone with hands would have to open it. So the girl that hatched them had come over with her son to see the chicks. They hadn't seen them, and she counted them, and she's like, Gail, I thought you had 13 chicks. And I said, I do. And she's like, no, you have 12. And we counted them again. And sure enough, one was missing. So we have no idea. I mean, it could not have gotten out by itself, and none of us did it. And so I said, well, the Bigfoot had to do it. They probably opened the door to the porch. It's a screened-in porch. It's not, and lifted the thing up, took one out. I mean, I'm blaming them, but I don't honestly know. But it just vanished, and with no explanation. But no tapping or jiggling. But I know people that have. So far, nothing. But yeah, yes. Debbie had a rock thrown at her porch, and she actually brought it over to show me, and it's huge. It probably weighs 6, 7, 8 pounds. Yeah. But no, they haven't done.
You've had them walking around your house. None of them want to just, like slap the side of your paneling or anything, whatever.
No, not yet. But I also I close up all my windows and curtains at night and my shades, and I sleep with the television on. So I just don't. I need my sleep, and I don't want anything disturbing my sleep at night. So I'm one of those.
Your dishes, look out the window, and see somebody standing there going, "What?"
Oh no. I don't want to see those eyes looking at me. Oh no, God knows. Then I will be moving to Manhattan. Nope. Yeah, we've our friend has all that. And I think it's, he feeds them, and he feeds them pretty close to his house. So he's had all of it. He's had the slapping the side of the house. He's had
Walker you're
scratching on the screens. He's had, oh my God, on his roof, the whole 9 yards. And I'm really not into that. I think my husband would probably think about divorcing me if this starts happening, because he's already told me, if anything starts coming here, I'm throwing you out of the house first. Let him take you first, because you're bringing him all here. So I think definitely we don't want any of that. Nope.
Well,
but I will let you know if it starts happening.
I have a question for the ladies.
Yes.
What do y'all believe that they are?
Good question.
That's the $10 million question, honestly.
It is.
Yes, it is, and it's a hard one. I went into this research thinking a certain way, and the longer I'm into it, the more questions I have.
Yes.
You know, I can't even answer it at this stage of the game because I'm still learning. I'm hoping, someday to have the answer, but I don't have it right now. I know their DNA is human, and, it's just such a quandary that I don't know, honestly.
Well, I understand. I started in it thinking one way, and then, it kind of progressed and started leaning the other way, so I understand, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
How has it changed you? Obviously one day this happens, boom. How has it changed you as I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, yeah, I stumped myself. Because, I know, okay, for me, I had heard the stories myself, and then when I had my first sighting, boom, that was the game changer for me. I mean, once something's seen, it can't be unseen, and you're left with more questions than answers.
Exactly.
And so I had to rethink a whole lot of the things that I had been taught and blah 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 to that stage of my life, and there he is standing there. So obviously it was a game changer for y'all. But what direction has this pushed you in? Your research. Where are you headed to with this, and what do you hope will be the final outcome of your research?
Well, we definitely have changed our approach. Instead of going in the woods and, chasing after them and trying to run them down, find tracks, hair, all that, doing the knocks and stuff, now our approach is totally different. And we're becoming more and more successful at what we're doing. So definitely, don't chase them down. I mean,
no.
I guess everybody starts out like that, let me find a track or, the normal thing that you would do is go out and search for them. And now we know where they are. We can just about see them, I guess, anytime we want. And so now it's more of trying to establish trust with them and communication.
Right.
And yeah, so that's the stage we're at now.
Quiet approach.
Yeah, quiet, respectful, spiritual approach to the creatures or people or, whatever you would call them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not just big hairy monsters like everybody thinks. They're very intelligent.
Yes,
and,
they are.
Yeah, and we just have to be respectful of them and their habitat, and they have families like we do, and young, and we just have to think like that. We have to, and spirituality. I think that they know if someone comes into the woods, they know if they're, what's in their heart, like if they have a good heart and they're a good spirit and everything, they sense that. And if you go in there, like with a gun or, having bad intentions of harming one, then they are going to do something, And so you just have to have a good attitude when you go into the forest, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. They can size a human up pretty quick, as far as intentions.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about that. Excuse me. Okay. What would you say has been your most, we've all had a I guess you call hair-raising experience. We got spooked pretty good at one time or another during the research. Did you have anything that really, kind of gave you the willies or spooked you in the moment?
Yeah, last 2 years ago on December 30th, it was 4 of us went to a site that we had been researching, and we knew there was a clan there. And 2 of the fellas came from Massachusetts, and they had a FLIR camera. And so we went out, and we had kind of a hair-raising experience where there were at least 5 Sasquatch, and they were very angry. I guess the FLIR camera, they know they cannot hide from it, and they flipped out, and they broke down trees that were enormous, and they were throwing rocks at us, and it was probably, other than the night on the mountain, it was the scariest thing of my life. But we managed to get away, and they could have easily killed us because there was only a little fence between us and them, rickety old fence. So if they wanted to kill us, that would have been their perfect opportunity. And they didn't. Oh. So thank God. Well, that was scary. That was definitely frightening for all of us. I mean, it changed our lives forever. All 4 of us were like, okay, if we had any doubts before, we don't have them now. And we do have some footage, but I can't release it to the public or anything, but we do have some. Yeah, that was hairy.
So you think it was the thermal camera that set them off, or those 2 individuals that came from another part of the country?
Yeah, they were only from Massachusetts, which isn't too far away, but
it's a different frame of mind, possibly. They might have had different intentions in the back of their heads, or they might have something about them that these Bigfoot did not like.
Yeah, you're very right. That didn't occur to me. I was always thinking, well, they were pissed about the FLIR,
No, a lot of people have had some pretty good results with FLIRs. One green video where the FLIR was basically hid inside a tent looking across the campsite. And the Bigfoot just came right up and took the candy bar. And Bart Catino has stood there watching one as it was laying there looking at him.
Really?
So people have seen them with FLIRs, and I don't think they necessarily consider I don't think they sense anything about the FLIR, because the FLIR soaks up energy and it doesn't project anything. Really? As opposed to an infrared camera.
Yeah, it could have been the other guys that were there.
Right.
I think there was a personality conflict.
Yeah, that could very well be. Now you're bringing up a good point, because I kept blaming it on the FLIR, but it could have definitely been that. Yes.
I'm a little biased. I'm a tech junkie myself, so I'm a little biased on that.
Yeah, well, I told we had Les Stroud here, not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, and he, claimed to check out the research, and we showed him, the area and everything, and I said, if we had a FLIR camera, we could make history. And he just, I'm like, hint, let me borrow your FLIR. But, that's our goal, is to get a really good FLIR camera.
I'm surprised Les doesn't have one himself by now.
Well, he may, but he was on his way to Mongolia. So he, and then he got into that terrible accident. So now he's back in Toronto healing, because he broke his ribs and punctured his lung, and it had a dislocated shoulder.
I've never heard about that. Oh no.
When was it?
Week ago Thursday, his car flipped.
Yeah, his car flipped in the desert of Mongolia going 50 miles an hour. And he was injured the worst of all of the people in the car.
Yeah.
In the truck, rather.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he wants to come back here. And I said certainly, and I'm looking forward to...
You can come back if you bring a FLIR camera.
I think he will, because I hinted. I think that he will. I definitely do. Because I'm pretty sure he does have access to all that stuff, yeah, with his filming and everything. So we're, just waiting for him to heal up, and if he has a little time before he goes to Alaska, I hope it's canceled too? Oh, okay. Well, maybe he will be here. Okay, good. Maybe he'll shoot down to New York and spend a little time here, and we can, take him to our hot zone. That would be great. Yep, he's a nice man, too, and he's very spiritual. And I know that, I'm pretty sure that when we take him in, that they will, appear. Hopefully they will.
He seems to have a pretty balanced approach to these kinds of things without going over the edge or not, not walking away from something new.
Right. No, he has an open mind, which we all have to have when it comes to this kind of research. And he's very spiritual. He was, I had him do some of our rituals, which we, the saging and the tobacco gifting and offering it to the 4 directions. And he willingly did it. And sure enough, and Les doesn't even know this. I guess it's okay if I tell you. Yeah. But I took a video while he was here, and he doesn't know this yet, but these things were in the video. When I was talking to Les, and I had these special kind of equipment that I film with, and they were in the video, and all around him. And we have it on video, and I'm getting ready. That's what we were doing tonight, is trying to have my son load it onto a DVD so I can send it to Les so he can look at it while he's healing. So, yeah, you would not believe. And I can't publish it yet until Les sees it, but after he sees it, we're going to put it online, maybe on YouTube or something. And unbelievable. I don't know how many there were, but there were quite a few around us and outside of our camper and everything. So it'll be pretty, I think it'll make him happy, and maybe he'll heal fast so he can come back. Yeah. Yep. Quite incredible.
Wow.
So
what was it like getting to meet Les Stroud?
It was wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
So great.
Yep. He was just so warm. All of us met him in front of the bait shop, and I have this 8-foot-tall Bigfoot silhouette that my kids cut out for me a few years ago, and I bring it to the town hall or this other cafe that I do presentations at. And so that was standing in front of the bait shop, and Connie and Debbie and I all went to greet him, and his limo driver was there as well, and his personal secretary, and then a photographer and a nice young lady from Omega Institute, where he had done a seminar over the weekend. So he was just so warm, and he just hugged us all, and we took him out to the back to our camper, and we had the fire set up and our boards with all our photographs and our casts and our bones, like, that we've collected, different carcasses and different things. And he was just like, is all this for me? And he was just so and sweet and nice and very, very a gentleman, a wonderful man. So, yeah, we feel blessed to have met him and to have him coming back. So he
hope he does.
Oh, yeah, he will. He's like, if you will allow me to, I would love to come back. And I'm like, certainly I will, yes. So we'll see. We're just praying for him now that he'll heal up and, you know, be able to get back to his normal life. And he sings and plays the harmonica and does all kinds of stuff. And I never realized he was so talented. Songwriter as well. So very interesting man and very sincere and honest. So if anybody's going to bring the truth out about the Sasquatch people, I'm thinking it's going to be Les, and, you know, we'll help them in every way we can to get to the truth. You know, what are they? Where are they from? What do they want? Are they here to give the message? The native people believe that when the earth is in times of trouble, that the Sasquatch appear and that they are keepers of the earth and watchers. And it certainly seems like there's a lot more of them around lately. So, yeah. So,
that's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of scary. It is. But
you know, I did a. I'm sorry, I was eating some pecans here.
Right.
I did a study one time back, and Lauren remembers this because she helped me with it. I did a study on Texas reports, and I got 200 of the best reports, the most accurate, that had the most information, and I made a database. And one of the things that I found was very, very interesting. There were increased sightings right before 9/11.
Really?
Yes. They jumped phenomenally right before 9/11. Wow. So maybe something's fixing to happen. I hope it's not. But it just seems very peculiar to me that all of a sudden we're having so many sightings during the summer was the same way before 9/11. August was huge. July was big on 2011. So I really think you girls are really, really amazing to me. Do you know why? Because you're taking a different approach than so many of the researchers that we have on here. We do have researchers that come on and they do communicate. They do try to have a interaction. But we don't have very many that come on and try that spiritual approach. And I think that is why you're being so successful and seeing so many, is because I think that you're touching on something that is in your culture. And it could be the music, it could be the way you approach them. I don't know. But I do believe that you guys you're nailing it, especially for the Sasquatch in your area. That's exactly what they need or are responding to.
Thank you for saying that. This is what we've been believing for a while now, and that's our approach, and that's Les's approach. It's a gentler approach. We're not tree knocking. We're not lighting fireworks off and scaring them and bringing baby dolls or whatever somebody comes up with. You know, we do go in, we say hello, bring them the food. As I said, when Les came, Gail had Native American music playing, and we played the drum. We had a fire pit going, and my God, he just felt at home here. And he said, "You did all this for me?" And well, yeah. And we had all of Gail's pictures set up around, and evidence that he looked at, and we talked for a while, and it was just a very spiritual day. And looking at the pictures afterwards, they were all over the place. They were crowding around us in the brush and the tree line right by the stream here. right, and it's incredible. When he sees these pictures, he's going to be shocked. And we were shocked when we saw them. We laughed, but yeah, you can't go guns a-blazing at these creatures. You know, who knows what they are.
That's just why I found it just really amazing that there was actually people that were trying to shoot one for $1 million. I'm thinking, really?
Oh, yeah, no.
And that's not going to happen.
They know when
well, I guess that show only had one season.
Right. It's not right. You know, we're not fearful when we go out there and see them. And you asked before how this has changed our life, and I'm much more aware of the environment and what's around me now personally. I think if I saw a 9-footer walking across my field, I might be a bit choked up and a little bit nervous, but we're not terrified going in these areas and what we see. I was eyeball to eyeball with one last night. Gail saw it too. Connie saw it. It was just the three of us, and we were in there, and I said, Gail, it's right in front of us. And it was a big one. I was looking at the pictures a few minutes ago. We weren't terrified. We said hello. We left our gifts. We backed out. And we walked around just, videotaping the trees to see if we see a little one. And, yes, we are seeing tons of little ones, hanging around the trees, blinking their eyes. But if there's little ones around, there's a big one right nearby. And I know one night we saw a lot of little ones in a tree, and Gail said to me, look to the right, into by that dead tree, and there was a big one standing in a big tree watching us. So, and then we saw that with our eyeballs, not on videotape.
Absolutely. So they don't care if you take pictures of them or point a camera at them. That's quite unusual. Most
we have a small one. We have a small one, so it doesn't look like very much. And, we're not at it the whole time. We do it sporadically. So what we get is pretty amazing for the amount of time and good quality. So, we do the best we can. We don't want to scare them either.
Right.
I think if they see a big camera, they're going to get a little freaked. Yeah, we use the GoPro, and we do the best we can. We're very discreet with it. We're not going to scare them. And once we saw this big one last night, we said, okay, thank you, and we backed right out and let them be. And this was 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30 in the evening last night. So it was still daylight up here. It's pretty incredible what we're seeing, and I'm pretty respectful of what they're doing, how they're living. I'm not going to go in there guns a-blazing and interrupt their habitat. Who knows what that would do?
Rush them, they want to go closer to them. Why? Why are you going to do that? You're going to make a threatening gesture to them, especially if they have young. The best thing is, thank them, and we do have some Native American words and gestures that have been taught to us, and different things that you do with your hands and head and bowing kind of, and putting your hand over your heart and just being respectful, and they can sense it, and they know that we're good people too. We're not having
they're extremely good judges of character.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. I have a question. I am very curious to know what language of Native American are you?
Well, it's Lenape dialect. The Lenape.
And it's a local dialect?
I believe so, yes. We have a friend that's a shaman, and she came over a few weeks ago and let me videotape her ceremonial, things that she taught us, but she won't let me put it online. But, if anybody wanted to, we would be happy to show them what we do. And, we can't give away all of our secrets, but we can openly, share some things. And, we also use essential oil that we have for protection sometimes, and we pray. We pray for protection. What else do we do? I think that's all. But I think the Native American approach to it is very, very good. Very good. Billy Jack is also very much into that. And the tobacco, gifting with tobacco. I cannot say enough how much this has changed the way they respond.
What kind of tobacco are we talking about? Are we talking about chewing tobacco, smoking cigarettes? What?
I think Debbie said it's natural in a bag of pipe tobacco, I guess it would be.
Yep.
Just a bag of loose tobacco.
Yep.
And always use your left hand and do to the four direction, north, south, east, and west, and just open your, sprinkle it and say Wanishi, and that means friend. And as soon as we do that, and we ask permission to enter, then we'll walk in, and a few minutes will go by, and, we may be filming. Sometimes we're not. We're talking, or we're putting their food into the containers or whatever, and you'll see the head will pop up here, one will pop up there, somebody will be peeking from up in the tree. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I just can't believe it myself. My kids like.
Oh, but you mainly do these things during the day. Is that correct? You don't ever go out there during the night.
Well, I used to go out at night, but I'm not so much anymore. And you can't see anything at night unless you have a FLIR. So we may do go out in the daytime, but I have been out on night investigations, and other than hearing the wood knockers or howl, which we have some of them on recordings as well. But really, you can't see anything. So until we get a FLIR, then I'll go out at night if we have a FLIR. Like we're sitting out here right now. I'm sure they're around us. They're listening to us. So we have all kinds of trees around here and the creek and
I would love it if they would give us a nice whoop right now and take it in the air.
I'm sure they might. Well, Connie and Debbie, I don't know if I was in the bait shop or something briefly because I had guys renting the boat, and they heard something howling across the creek. Coyotes? Yeah, we had a lot of coyotes. But a lot of times the Bigfoot, we've heard, like the Bigfoot will howl, a long howl, like right before they make a kill, and then the coyotes come running in, yip, 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 howling and, carrying on because they get all excited because we think the Bigfoot take, like the heart, the liver, the more high protein meat and internal organs, and then the coyotes finish off the rest.
Oh, my God. I have said this numerous times because I truly believe that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I get the same thing, the long howl, and then it's like a dinner bell being rang.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe they work together. Brad has a question, and I know he'd like to approach it because we're getting down to almost the show is almost over. We have about 7 minutes, ladies. So, Grant, go ahead. I think he wanted to go back to.
I'm curious. You've gotten to the point of almost getting into communication with them. How do you take the next step to English?
To English, yeah. Well, I have a friend that I'm working with, and he's in upstate New York. And he's actually had some telepathic stuff going on, which maybe that might happen to me at some point if I'm open enough and, in a good space.
Well, I'm talking more about you're going to be standing there right in front of one someday.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, and
like,
actually say hi.
Oh, we did that last night.
We're building trust.
Yeah, we're building the trust because when Debbie's like, "What? Right in front of you, Gail, 12 o'clock," and I go, "Yep, I see him," and I said, "Hi." I have it on the video, and I said, what do you want us to bring you next time? Garlic? Because I know the
Can
bugs
you
are
ever
really...
get to the point where you might expect them to say hi back to you, hello, in some way?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they could, because some people say that they can speak English and that they actually imitate mothers calling their children or their dogs or their cats names, and so I'm certainly, I know they understand us.
Imitation is the highest form of compliment, but being able to understand it in context, like we are right now, is going to be the next step sooner or later, to be able to, if you're going to learn their culture, etc. And again, I guess we only got a few minutes left, and that would take another long conversation.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to just keep, we'll keep up our research, and we'll definitely keep everyone posted as best we can. And I am doing a book. Well, I'm going to do 2 books. One's going to be on the Hudson Valley and our experiences and the local encounters. And then I'm going to do another book with this gentleman named Walker, and it's going to be called Walker's Chronicles. And it's going to be a combination of his work and mine, because we've been working like by phone and emails and pictures for about a year now. And he's got some incredible stuff as well. So, there's going to be a couple of different things coming up. And we're working also with Connie. Lapsaritis is going to do a preview to our book. So he's offered graciously to do that. So it's going to be a busy year. But
You're an extremely busy lady. You sing in a rock band too, don't you? And run a bake shop and a Bigfoot hunter and oh my goodness, and now an author.
Oh God. Well, English was my best subject in Catholic school, and I'm sure my nuns would be proud of me if I published a book. I don't know about the subject matter, but I'm going to give it my best shot. It's just, I'm so passionate about it, and my family has had to accept this life-changing event, and they've been pretty supportive. My one son, both my younger sons are a little bit on the fence, but I'm bombarding them daily with videos, audio, constant stuff. So they have kind of no choice. So my husband's tolerant and pretty supportive. So, and I have great friends and great team members. So I'm blessed. I feel blessed.
Well, there was a question in the chat, and they wanted to know if Les is going to do another Bigfoot season. Do you know? Did he mention it? Or?
I would imagine he would, because he is so passionate about it. I can't see him not doing it. But we didn't ask him, but I'm pretty sure he will. Yeah, don't you think?
Yeah,
Debbie?
I think that's his passion.
Yeah.
And they had to cancel the last 2 Survivor Man episodes because of the rollover of the car. So his Mongolia expedition and the Alaska expedition is out for this season because he's going to have surgery this week as a result of a car accident. I don't know if it's orthopedically, but he does have a chest tube in because of the punctured lung.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, he was the only one majorly hurt. Everybody had bumps, but he was behind the driver, and the car rolled, and he hit his head too. He passed out from the pain. It was so bad. For this man to complain about pain on Facebook, it's pretty incredible because he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
But I would think he's going to do another Bigfoot series. Everybody raved about it, and I learned a lot from it too.
Well, I want to thank you ladies for coming on, and thank Connie.
I will.
And, yeah, you guys were fantastic. I would love to have you back sometime if you would agree to that. I'm going to let you...
yes, we will. Love it.
I want to give you some time to see where you go with this different approach and see where it takes you. And we'll have you back and do an update on.
Great.
Great.
Give
Thank
us a
you
couple
so much.
months, and we may have major news to give you. You never know.
Just keep me informed.
Yeah.
Keep me informed.
I will.
Well,
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
you are
much.
so welcome. You guys were fabulous. Fantastic. I want to tell you that you did a great job. I know y'all were excited, and y'all did a great job. Want to let everyone know that next week we're having Alan. Haven't gotten his last name yet, but he's from Fanson Frontiers in Ohio. So I will have more information next week or have it up for you guys. So that's who's coming on next week. So we want to tell everyone, thank you for listening to Night Callers Bigfoot Radio. Go to our Facebook and like us, love us, share us. And that's it. So everyone say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye-bye.